More passive voice? Smriti. Let's see. Allie, where's the passive verb? Is shown. Very good. And what is the subject, Allie, that is being shown? Very good. Concept is shown. There's your noun verb pairing passive voice. Ian, did you have a revision idea?
I was going to say, read shows the same concept later on, which you would use a shower.
Good strategy, however, that's not the implied acting subject. Who would be showing a concept with greet? Not who would be showing a concept through greet. It wouldn't be greet herself. Chevalier, the author. I think same concept may be unnecessarily redundant. I don't know because I haven't read the couple sentences in front of this sentence. However, I think Chevalier shows this later on when Greet refuses to show her hair is fine, with one exception. We've now possibly run into redundancy. Where? Or repetition, yeah.
Like shows?
Yeah, so we might want to take out shows. So what do authors do with concepts besides showing them? They write about them. What? They do illustrate. However, illustrate is to provide an example of. I like develop. By the way, anybody ever notice the poster up there? Provides you with some opportunities for different verbs that you can use that are precise analysis, like construct, develop, or create. Good verbs to use with authors. Explore or discuss, those are good also. Display or demonstrate. They are technically different. However, I think develops, implying that the idea is something that is under construction, that it continues to advance, that pieces continue to be added to it. Chevalier develops this later on when Greet refuses to show her hair. Now we've eliminated redundancy and passive voice. It's a bit clearer. It's also fewer words, which I always like. Any more passive voice? All right, Allie. Let's go to Allie, and then we'll go back, Susan, Sarah. And then after Susan and Sarah, I think we can close the book on passive voice. It's a fairly simple problem to fix. In fact, number one challenge that you folks have with passive voice is not the revision of it, it's the identification of it, finding it in your writing, which Word will help with 90% of the time. There are some irregularities with grammar check where Word sometimes does not pick up passive voice, but it is much more effective than it was back in the early 90s. Good. Allie, are we speaking of the book, or are we speaking of the film? Film, excellent. Why did I ask that question? I'm sorry? True. And if I'm thinking about revising the passive voice, what do I have to know? Subjects, who's doing it. So I don't know if I'm referring to Bissinger or I'm referring to filmmakers, and that's why I had to know that. Don Billingsley is a similar story, only his conflict is resolved in the end. Let's see. Katie, where's the passive verb in this? Yeah, is resolved. Very good. And what's the subject that is being resolved? Very good. Anybody have an idea? Yeah, Lexi.
But this is the movie.
Yes.
You could say Dan Films is a similar story, only the filmmakers resolve his conflict.
Flip around only, though. The filmmakers or the film only resolves his conflict. Yep, very good. That's proper. So what Lexi has done is inserted the implied acting subject. You know, you could technically also write only his conflict resolves. It's a little bit awkward, but I've heard people use the word resolve to refer to something sort of solving itself. However, that's not really accurate. Lexi's is more accurate because the film resolves it. The filmmakers resolve it. Just an off note, when you're talking about film and authorship, it's often tricky. Why is film authorship more difficult to identify than novel authorship? Yeah, I had a film professor in college who was just vicious about anybody trying to identify any one person as an author in a film. She would always contend that film is group art, film is collective art, and there is no way that